当末你到店了，白不去了，对呗？
你对吧？
什么当末你店了，白不去了，你泰国那你了就个明白的，泰国那你店了怕不？Do you watch page? I think it's chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
9, right? 9 definitive source. Enter reality, okay. Okay, chapter 9, yes. Dude, I don't do so. So it's volume 3.
Okay, volume 3. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Chapter 9.
네, 가지고 거에 자와 단지에서 나오시 방법이 송래래래.
It's okay. Yeah.
No? You can close it if you want.
No, I'm not cold. I'm just I was afraid you were cold.
No.
That's 먼저 네 마셔야 돼. 대신에 주지 시작해. 그래서 먼저 어머니 있다 때 그래야 될 거였으네. 그거는 그래. 그래서 다들 같이 그거는 그래. 네. 타바토바라. 그거는 타로 당나도 돼야 됐다. 그래도 내내 타를 준비해 봐. 타를 준비해서는 그래 내내 타를 제발다 동반이 되고 그거야 봐. 이사 근데 대시도 준비해. 다른 주 대시야 부셔봐라. 아니 그래서 동반이 되는 거. 네 그런데 잠도 없이 이렇게 말해.
So this chapter, chapter number 9, the stages of entering into reality. So when you begin to read this chapter, so it mainly is talking about the function or the operation of Four Noble Truths. It begins with the Four Noble Truths, how they operate, how they functions. So this is important. So we need to understand the function or the operation of Four Noble Truths before we understand the reality, the phenomena, reality of phenomena. Because we wish or we are looking forward to study emptiness and looking forward to meditate on emptiness. So then you need to know what are the reasons why you're looking forward to study emptiness and meditating on emptiness. So here we are looking forward to start emptiness because we wanted to get free from samsara existence. This is the whole reason why we are studying and this text, the reality and the emptiness. Yeah? So then, even it said that if you, so if you need to understand the perfect and the detail or the operation of Four Noble Truth. So you have to understand selflessness, nature of selflessness or emptiness. Even if you want to understand the perfect practice of refuge, going refuge into jewels, right? So in order to understand that, you also need to know the nature of selflessness. If you don't know the nature of selflessness, you will not have a perfect refuge practice.
That's it. Tangan tu kerana sini, tungai mentu baca Jawa tu berapa. Tungai mentu Jawa tu biasa, tungai mentu biasa. Tak tungai Jawa tu kerana sini, Jawa tu terus tahu tu bersini. Tak tungai mentu na, tak kerana cuma sini ni, cip tahu tu bersini pun dia, nanti. Tadi jam tu ini tungai binti sita ni biar sudah biar bah. Tungai lu ni tu biar lagi, tungai tu le jauh dicet. Just ni jam dicet biar. Di sana, tak tungai kita tu batu biar, tungai yang saya kita ini biar sini. Tahu tu betul tu dia bah. Jasa जो तुम्हें में जो गल्लो के वाला तुम्हें ले थारन के वाला कर को तुम्हें के चाव दिते चे आती पहुंची के थल लोग गया बा पति ऐसा तोंबगी ताव दिते को यार कि तुम्हें में जो बच्चे तुम्हें ले थारन जो ना तोंबगी के ताव चे के को गया मांगे ना तुम्हें ले थार तो में भी और तुम्हें के चाव के बारी छूट गया और ती ऐसा तब नेशे पर चार से आती ये तीन बच्चे सुन कर बाती नैसी नेशे पर चार से तो ये तुम्हें बता कुछ ना तुम्हें दी कौन दी लो जीवी तुम्हें ल जवान जिम पे ना तुम्हें कौन तो लो जीवी मारवा Ngaran tu ke jadi ni, ni ke penjualan thandu, logik marba. Tapi nanti sebab tu dia buat kaya cerita tu yang loban nasi jiwa. Jadi insan kacau nasi jadi. Nanti kue tu ni masih macam. Jadi kacau nan kalau cerita kini cerita. Jadi ini sih tanda juga betul. Kue tu tanda. Ini saja. Ini ada di sini siapa cara siapa. Tungai siapa siapa. Tungai jawatan simpan ni ini tungai pun tungai hago na ini tungai pun tapi orang kerja berkesan ini tungai jawati. Batu sebab dia batu sih.
So this again the reason we are meditating on emptiness is to free yourself from all types of sufferings, some such existence. So this will be our primary goal. The reason why we are studying this emptiness, okay, about emptiness. So then, in order to do that, first we need to know how we suffer and what are the causes of our sufferings, and what is the main or the fundamental cause of our sufferings. The if you find then if you try to analyze or try to find the main cause of our suffering, then you will find it is the self-grasping thought. Yes, self-grasping thought is the main cause of our all types of sufferings. So we need to eliminate that. We need to remove that or abandon or eradicate that self-grasping thoughts. So then, in order to do that, so the best way to deal with that kind of self-grasping is to meditate on emptiness. Okay, so this would that's the way how we how we eliminate self-grasping thoughts. Yeah. So then, so again, so when we talk about removing the causes of our sufferings, that means you need to understand what is suffering first. If you don't understand suffering as a suffering, if you don't recognize suffering as a suffering, you will not have any sense or any thought to remove that sufferings or the causes of the suffering. For instance, in the Guru devotion prayer, Lama Chopa. Okay, in the Lama Chopa it says, "Soga Zora." Soga Zora means Soga Zora Kwa. This samsara existing is like a prison. Okay, prison. But we confuse. Okay, we don't see our samsara existing as a prison. Prison. Yes, prison. So we see our samsara existing as a beautiful garden. Okay? So beautiful garden, and we kind of like a cruise around in that, we think this is a beautiful garden. That's why we get confused. That means like we don't understand suffering as a suffering. So we get confused and we thought there is a pleasure kind of sense and a happiness. So that's why we tend to grasp on that. We tend to hover on that kind of aspect. Like Sibet Pinso means pleasure of samsara existence. So you get confused. We think that is a pleasure of samsara existence, the happiness. So then we get confused. So then that means we don't understand. We haven't realized that that is a nature of suffering. So then the Buddha said, the suffering needs to be understood. When he says suffering needs to be understood, we need to know the actual, real, the nature of sufferings.
되네 문제 챔미시야가 챔미시는 순제 탐제 대화도 되게 좋다는 거. 순제 탐제 동행도 되게 좋다는 거. 순제 탐제 동행에 대화도 만들어 주셨어. 대화도 되게 좋은 거 주셨어요. 대화도 판 개가치기야. 동행에 대화도다. 아니 대기야 레시게. 말한주 단대비 내가 그때와 지야가 내가 그때와 남상 유튜브에 다리 기분이나 생이 기분에 생이 기분을 지니야 이 기분이 제 무조건이 그에 되었으니까 사직이 되었으니까 그 님 매배 되었어야 돼. 이 사직이 되었지 내가 대중이 되었지. 그래서 문제 동해매배 되었던데 맞지 있어야지. 아주 되었던데 지마루스야 되었지. 동해매배 되었던데 맞지. 요스야 레스야. 그에 되었지. 동해도 되지. 오늘 그 동해이 말이 동해 그래시. 그루에 동해 생기지. 내가 지라 되었지. 예, 신다 지체인도 그 동행은 중요해. 어디서 뭐지 저하세요. 답에 들어왔으게 됐다. 뒤에 땡기 들어왔으게. 답에 들어왔어야 돼. 지금 털수는 콜라 동행을 하신도 돼야 말이. What is a the key to Bala carries in Kueta Bank.
So, and also in the four immeasurable prayers, right? So, first line goes with this says, "May all sentient beings from sufferings, and may all sentient beings be happy and obtain all happiness." Right. So then here it says sufferings and happiness. So then we need to know what exactly means suffering. What is actually the happiness? So we need to know that. So and when you look at the third line, then it says, the may all sentient beings have happiness without any happiness that is free from any types of sufferings, something like that, right? He said that, but there's a reason for that, because the having happiness is not actually enough. So and samsara, we do have some happiness, but that is not a complete, real, actual happiness. So that happiness can change basis on the causes and conditions. This is not forever kind of happiness, because the that kind of happiness is we also call it the suffering of changing. The suffering of change. This is not real happiness, because the nature of that happiness changes based on causes and conditions. It's not reliable. Yeah. So the third prayer is that may all sentient beings be happy. That happiness is free from any types of sufferings. We need that kind of happiness. Yeah. So that kind of happiness is only happens or take place, or it occurs if you eliminate the cause, main cause, the fundamental cause of our suffering, which is ignorance, or which is the self-grasping thoughts. Yeah? So if someone able to overcome self-grasping thoughts, right? Self-grasping thought, so that person can have a happiness that is free from any types of sufferings.
There is a these are to me shape a child said the embassies, Tambo soon create the team. Randy to me to Mantimache. The to nearly the one Gigi and from Boloma carrier, these are to me shape a child said teacher.
So that's why Buddha, when he teach him from the beginning, he said, you need to understand what is suffering. Okay, suffering, and need to understand suffering as suffering. So there's a reason for that, because ordinary beings, they get confused. They confuse that, they think samsara existence, pleasure of samsara existence, something's happiness. So they need to know that is also a type of suffering.
That to me to share the Tambata careers and to me phone to Luciera. They point to me to college to the way. Won't you hear it coming? To me, the only that way. The time to make duty. Yapuchireto, Shinjino Chireto, Taguya. To make duty. Temachina, I need to get the Kuayamara. This is a chain the number to make it utilita. Unju Tembatan to make them bus near. Eh, tell to make Unju Tembas. Unju Tembasiati, telling me, lady conjunes, human conjunes. Lady conjunes yati, and to make it all lady. That is, is thought carriers and Yumubu Kunus. Yumubu ten dates. Chadang on the any days. Chadang you would take this to the Chabajedan in this kit. Shedan carrier, and you can just give those Tata, I mean, Taji. Chadang you would take Chiki. And it Tanjili Pundu Kiriarba. What is that? Then you Kunju Shebacha, Kunju Pamacha Seti. To name Indunata, Kunju Pangri, to name you. 아니 구조들이 그래서 레이지 구조, 유무 구조, 스니 그냥 레이지 구조들이 아니 되게 자원이 그래서 유무 구조 차단이 됐어. 차단이 그때 자원이 그랬으니까 다들 말이야. 다 단지 분들 딜 딜 구조방을 잘 쓰지만 딜레기야.
So then, once we realize or understand suffering, as Buddha said, understand the nature of suffering as sufferings, right? So once we understand that, so that is that type of suffering is undesirable kind of feeling, or has very, the unhappy kind of state of mind, right? That is we always are trying to get away from that kind of experience. So once you have that feeling, so once you understand the suffering as a suffering, so then you will have a natural kind of the feeling towards suffering, something that is undesirable. So you wanted to just get away from that kind of experiences. You will have that kind of naturally. So when you have that, then you will need to know. So then they and it, so that sufferings could be something we may not able to do anything with that kind of suffering if that suffering is truly exist, right? If the suffering is true, so something we cannot do, there's nothing we can do, then we need to understand so where this suffering actually came from. So how actually I'm experiencing all these sufferings. So then you will see because of our karma. So because of our karma, so then we experience sufferings. So the where that suffering actually, that karma, how we actually get this karma. So then you will know that our mental afflictions, for instance, aversion and attachments, all these emotion, mental emotions creates the karmas, right? Karmas. So where this mental emotion or the attachment and aversions came from, what is the root of that? So then you will see the self-grasping thoughts. Self-grasping thoughts actually force us to develop some sort of mental afflictions. So then due to our mental affliction, that mental affliction actually force us to create some karma. That karma brings unhappy kind of state, feelings or experience in our life. Yeah, this is how we develop all this the experience within ourselves. So then when you see, so then the next Buddha said that abandon the the origin of sufferings. Okay, first he said understand suffering. Okay, and he said abandon origin of the sufferings. So that means we need to know there are two origins. There's two main causes of suffering, which is karma and mental afflictions. So karma and the mental afflictions actually creates, brings sort of like force us to experience suffering. That's why we need to abandon karma and mental afflictions.
that's that 차단기 두 말이 다 두진 것이 다 본데 그렇게 봐. 이 본데 그렇게 다 빠지 이제 주체고 다 이제 좀 큰 진지티 가래래. 그 시바 너 진지지래도 의미 필지래 다 그래. 다 이제 좀큰 진지 다 보게. 그 아니 이제 몇 아니 이제 친지로 이제 하고에 뒤하고 그 진주지 하고에 이제 공부에 그래서 단지 진주가에 그 일단 진짜 딱또 그는 얘기도 단지 지루게 했어.
So then, when it says abandon the origin of sufferings, right? Sufferings. So then you will, when you do this kind of analysis, so then you will come down, and your conclusion would be that you need to abandon or you need to remove your self-grasping thoughts. So this is the main cause for some. Because of that, we develop aversion and attachment, then brings karma, then we experience suffering. This is the process how we're suffering, right? So then you will find. So then Buddha also said, you need to understand the origin of suffering, means you need to understand that kind of origins of suffering. So that is self-grasping thought, self-grasping thinking or thoughts. So then again, so you need to do more investigations over here. So then how we actually experience like a self-grasping thought, so what is self-grasping thought, something like that. So if you said that, so then self-grasping thought is that it is a mind, like a subjective mind, right? Is that a valid or invalid? You need to find out. It is a mind that actually sees all things as truly exists, right? So that mind is valid or invalid. You need to find out. If you find that is a valid mind, so then you cannot remove that, because there's a mind that sees that, experience that, and that is a valid mind. So then you cannot do anything about it, because it's perception of a valid mind, right? You cannot do that. So then you will find that is not a valid mind, okay? Mind that perceives all things are truly exist. That is not a valid, it's an invalid mind.
나라도 차단기야 디가르레스나 다도 짐바티기 메템바르 템바르 지지 지인도 tambani 차단 지지기 차단기야티 네 차단 이 이노도티 이 그런 때문에 이거를 지는 게 진짜 이제 좀 아테스네 그런 게 눈에 비추여지네. 어디든지 나기야. 이 나이도 좀 더클 자신기게 하래. 인사다 유크 유빈이 주디 큰 지야 따야디 지리 유빈은 주 두가 진랑주 한다 그래도 내도 따위야. 이 땅이 무슨 아니 유크라는 게 때문에 그거지. 유크라는 게 때문에 그거지. 가제래. 만약에 나이도 유크라는 게 때문에 주의가 쓰는 게. 이 말이 원래 다 따벼온 게 주시하고 제일 미실지. 유크라는 게 때문에 주의 그거지. 야 말이. 다지 지시는 빼나 다시 빼면 뭐래? 주난기 다와 내놓는게 진심 무슨이 그때 집에 있어요. 주난기 다와지 다완난기 야리지 다와 생기고 짓는 게 야리지 주난 다와지 제가 지는 주난 다완이 아니에요. 매번 인상 나랑들이 나의 강으로 지금 파제 제가 누는 대지기로 짓는 게 어디 매버리 매버 인상다 디네 지나 이제 좀 뭔데 자신이야 대지기야.
So then when we look at how we develop attachment and aversion, so then we are looking at an object, but it's like beautiful, it's like ugly or whatever. We're looking at an object. So then when we contact with that object, so then we develop all kinds of emotion, like the aversion and attachment towards that object, right? So then we need to find out, so the way in which we perceived it, when we projected that object, is that a real or not? Yeah. So this is the whole thing. So while we are developing attachment and aversion, that actually makes us difficult and suffer. Right? We suffer because of that attachment and aversion. That actually the aversion and attachment came from when we look at an object and we perceive in a particular way, then we develop the attachment, for instance, the attachment. So then we need to look. So my perception is a valid or or not, right? So the way in which it perceives to me, is this a true or not, sort of like true or not. So then when you look, so then you will see that is just that is not true. Your perception, your cognition is not valid. You're just making it up, sort of like this is not this is not actually from the object side. There's nothing from the object side. No, there's nothing. So when you realize that, when you understand that, then you will know this is just merely what we call a label, right? It's just your mental projection, your projection. There are many. This that's why this is that's why you can tell that is not a valid cognition, because the objective nature and the perception is totally different and it contradicts. It's not nothing exists the way in which you perceive it. This is totally different. Yeah, there are yes, totally different. So that's why you can say this is not a valid cognition. Okay, if something is a valid cognition, then you cannot change about it because this is true, right? Since this is an invalid cognition, it's not a valid cognition. So then you can say this is something we can deal with. So, for instance, there are many examples how we see things. Like, for instance, they have an example of like a moon reflection in moon, the water body, and then your reflection in your mirror. So then the moon, you see full moon in the water, right? In the water, reflecting water, but that is not real moon. You're confused. You get confused. You think that is the real moon, but there is no real moon. Similar like that, our perception is totally different. How they appears to us. The actual object is totally different than how they appear to us. That's why you can tell we do not have a valid cognition the way in which they appear to us.
Tani arandu melona gi cheshi di yari yebache. Ibayana melona gi cheshi di la chashi shira maji kiri marba melona gi cheshi di la melona gi cheshi shira melona gi tong di siga melona gi tong di rang tong chi marba ineya. 아니 멤버에서 멤버는 그때 돈 이야래 얘네야 플라란디 돈은 신체인데 자신제한테 야마라 그 가르에서 이해야라 아니 나랑도 뭐는 자신을 내가 제수내지 아니 공부지야 아니 들었더니 차바지야 뭔가 야라 내가 나는나기 돈들을 이니 디나 신기 차바기 말이 그게 메로나기 내버려 제신기 돈들을 내버려 제네 세상기 말이 들렸더니 차바의 기 말봐 그가리를 쳐봐야래 그 여기 집어래 되게 내디 게임만 붙이 소담을 때문에 굿굿샤버리지. 이제 나는 좀 나트게. 디스스 돈디 집에 프랑이 이때 내버려지는 게 나는 이사 돈들 내버 제수는 그때는 차버기가 그때는 내버 제수는 시간게 야르바. 이야기 말로나기 돈디다. 란디 돈이 붙기. 주주티 집어래. 임바라 디 내주디 안 가면 지금 내주디 하고 위에봐 하고 위에서 지를 잡아기게 지를 잡아기게 한 말이 어디게 소리지 했어.
So then we develop attachment and aversion because we believe that things are truly exist. Because of that misunderstanding, so then we develop the aversion and attachments. For instance, when we look at a mirror, so when you see your face, reflection of your face in the mirror, so that reflection is exist. Okay, that exists. So, but we do not develop any attachment or anything, any particular kind of emotion towards that reflection, your face and reflection in your the mirror, right? So then we know, and somehow we know that that is not your face, that is not my face or like my face. We know that. That's why we don't get attached towards that object. That this is true and this is exist, right? That reflection of our face is exist. But if something happened to our own face, right? then, then we get angry. So we do all kinds of things. Sometimes we develop some attachment towards our face and stuff like that. We get like all kinds of emotion, right? So when you look at these two objects, we have two different objects here. One object is your own face, and another object is the reflection of your face in the mirror. Okay, from the objective side of the objective, total same thing. There's no different at all. It's the same thing. But we don't get attachment. We don't have any particular kind of emotion towards the reflection because we know this is, it's something we don't have that because we don't. We believe we understand somehow. We understand that is not my face. That is not true. Yeah, this that's why we don't have that kind of emotion towards that. But on our face, our real face, and our real face, we don't know that. We don't understand that. We think this is truly exist. It is true. That's why we have all this emotion. Something happened to your face. Yeah. So then we have all this emotion. Do not. We are not able to make a distinguish between your perception and then the object.
Tene pa rangi tongro di cheli ne ta tong di phate chega chine ani papa tene ini tong di tobana ni sha tene ani go tene phate chega chine rangi tong di du chu se me tong chi chiar ba di papa tene papa tene kap sha tene ini riba tene chega chi chu se 그 자식이야 매력설지 봐. 내가 지금 그 누구 주스 매니지. 되게 초등을 때는 파 동스 다시아버지 수수 동스 다시아버지. 예? 수수 동 파, 내가 지금 바바 되는 말이 디나기 시작되는 말. 디나기 그거 되는 말이. 아니 이 되는 말이 가도 되는 말이. 근데 되지도 좀 봐. 근데 그 자식께서 돼. 맞아 지금 내봐. 야, 나게 봐. 야, 이어봐. 야, 이어봐지. 아, 제가 지금 이 중에 계산 동원들랑 그 외에 맞으셔야 돼. 어떻게 나랑 저기 동시에 돼. 랑도 동대랑 그 외에 배치. 좀 시험지. 난게. 근데 자식 기계가 갖다 빛나시.
So then your face, our face, and then the reflection of our face is, mode of the existence is exactly same. So for instance, when we try to find our face, so that face, there's something we very attached to that face, right? So when we try to find that object, so then so you look at the skin, it's not the face, the eyes not the face, the blood is not the face. Then you go to all these each of these particles of your face, you cannot find something that you think it's truly exists. You attach to that, so you cannot find that object. You will not find that object. The mood of existence, that is and then the reflection of your face is same thing. Again, you try to find it, you cannot find it. Then you will see the mood of existence of this both of these objects same, same level. There's nothing basis on it, but they appear to us there is something out there, and there's something. So then how they come into exist, why we are having those perceptions, stuff like that. Then when you look, then when you did your conclusion would be like, this is coming to exist just depending on causes and conditions. This will be your conclusion, because there's no truly exist. They come to exist only if there's a causes and condition and factors all comes together, then you have that kind of object, that kind of image.
他今年是让了去去年不去嘛，说呢，俺的度假来说，让了也这个的结束，俺的这个结束，让了去。去年不去的时候，俺的度假来说，这一回，俺是了去个吧，但是怕这个钱，俺的国度，理解定的这个。그래서 리치 때문에 니치 두게 아니 쌤들 때문에 니치 이제 나왔을 때 맞지 아니 다 아니 그래서 공부다 쌤이 때문에 다 버려 이 쌤들이 나세요 나지 풍들 때문에 그게 쌤기 때문에 딱 풍들 때문에 딱 풍들 야간을 삼다인데 잘 지장이야 매 나서 알아 치주를 없음 세비 나게 치바산이 나디 바도 그 나는 내 계속해서 내가 계속 나도 바도 제가 치는 풍들 때문에 수비된 되는 지정이나 수비 절실까지 지정 맞자가 지내 나중에 또는 생기 때도 두개에서는 생기 때도 제가 지내 삼다니 아니 제가 집에 있는 생기 때도 나중에 다들 제가 두두 니기 메도 좀 받는데 나중에 나서니 나 춤추듯이 칠 내발을 나 춤추듯이 제가 지금 이해 매버려 매도 좀마다 제가 사주 민족 삼사를 지금 그랬다 다시 예배에 지내서는 그냥 나시게 집도 부부들 파제니 니기 버릇이 능이야 That's need to marry. Just not that there is an idea. And Jim Malone don't deny she. The bed Pata and Shasha. Like Chile soup send it in a need to marry. From good thing a need to marry. What it did it? How was so that in it? 아니, 그냥 이제 다음에 봤어야지. 다음에 봤어야지. 그냥 이해하고 고추고 있는 다음에 봤어야지. 다음도 두고 세트 좀 봐. 풍부 때문에 파제제는 풍부 때문에 주인이 유버를 넘기야. 누구 주세요지. 내 말교가 시비치기야. 내 말교는 나한테 파제가 지는 이유네. 어디에서 땅가 니주 여벌의 중에 진바에서는 차단기기야.
So then you use that same logic and try to find I. So there is something the man sort of like problem in our life. So we believe the I is truly exists, independent. So that's why we have all these problems in our life. So then again, when you said analyze, try to find I means like when someone criticizes you and harms you, so then you get very angry. So then you'll say I'm angry, right? And if someone praised you and says something good thing about you, so then you enjoy it. So you feel comfortable and happy about it, right? So then there's something, so you'll say I'm happy, right? So there's I, notion of I. So then you need to find out who is actually, where's the I that's being criticized and harmed, and where's that I being really enjoying and being enjoying, sort of like. So you need to find that I. So when you have a strong emotion like that, the anger or strong attachment, so then your I becomes very strong at that moment. So then you can see like there's something being torture, or something being enjoying. There's something I. So you need to find that out, that I. Where's that I? Who is actually experiencing these things? So then again, if you try to find it, so then there's only two possibilities, like so it could be a mind or it could be a part of your body. So we are actually made out of five skandhas, so the five aggregates, okay, five aggregates. So then if you try to find it on each or every aggregate, so you can find it. Yeah? And even in your mind, okay, your mental continuum, so you cannot find it on any of them, any of them. So then you will lose that. You cannot find that I. But initially, so you thought that, so it's the I that is independent, something findable, and something that is being harmed. So then you have that kind of feeling. So when you look at deep, like on that, try to find it, but you cannot find it, you will lose it. So then you need to do that kind of analytical kind of like a meditation or process. So then in the sometime, so then you will have a sense of losing that I, and then sense of like missing that I. So then if you have that feeling, that is actually begin to understand the nature of the selflessness. So what is actually meant by selflessness? So this is, we are kind of eliminating any possibility of existing and a truly existence of I.
야, 다들이, 야, 다들이, 저사 그 단지 시인데, 단지 시야지, 그게 지야지, 저기 발 이군에 치 여가 짓는 게 디나 신당 진게 이 때문에서 다들 다큰 진주 진번 날씨 매번 지도 이거 담이 떴어 그러고 이 사단 진주 하고 있으면 그 진주 되어 그게 이군에 치 이해돼 버렸지. 발제 제가 진짜 제기 버렸지. 징계야. 징계 인사했더니 그게 다 부지 단지 얼로지 다 단지 기계 이에서 단지 되기 전반에 야 말이 좀 예치지 하고 이요. 그 이제 좀봐 이제 징계 쉽지 뭐 쉽지. 이제 근데 지나서 이 그런 게는 이어버렸지. 원래 다 정치 하고 그냥 먼저 최근에 원래 다 정치 그냥 랑이 풍부당 는 도지기 또봐 네 도지기 또봐다 랑이 풍부 체했던 때문에 랑 시험이 그냥 네 풍부를 지냐 풍부티 풍부에 주지 초바 풍부에 주지 초바 대단 네 예를 들면 풍부에 주지 초바 대단 풍부하신 도지기 또버지지 또버지니 또버당 풍부에 주지 초바지 체인什么 你不把下死，不把大就下不的，这种这个不把下不的没事情。不把的怕在这个这个不把对这类的呢，不把的个什么，不把小的，不把马的，不把开的，不把马的，不把男的吹的，不把马的，这个 내 뒤처럼 부부티 사이 뒤 mambuchini sui shabati yucharo rene pumbari kasini pumbam marba. Tayine ku sopa tela tene ni sopa tela tene bash minta gaya. Minta bala tene ani shazam chiki. Shazam re mishu chiki pa tse cheba chene minduwa niya minduwa. Nebe insan 파상이 아버지 당기는 시작께서 매고요. 부바자 제가 누구냐 말이. 이내야 저기 부바스 시작이야 지야라. 어디지 제도 매버지. 제가 좀 그냥 이네
Tamati lasha. Rinpoche lasha. Rinpoche jedu. So then the self-grasping thought. Yeah. So that is when we perceive an object. So we think this object is truly exists and independent, and then we develop all this attachment and so on, right? All this kind of thing. So then, so when the danzi
나리 제가 다
dadu
단지디 이 다도 좀 배는 나나세 이바 지금 뭐지라니 나 지금 지게 이바 지게야지 지기 지야 나다 제가 지금 아니 분부된도 니기네 생기된도 니기네 이게야말로 생기된도 니야네 분부된도 니야네 매번 이발아야 나디 예스 야리 디도이네 나디 야리 얘네야 파체니 니기네 아이 내주 디 이발아 단지 되게 파체니 니기버지 이게 때문에 치유버지 진리야 그 단지 진리 내주디 이게 때문에 더시다 도지가 또바 체점을 샤브 마스 샤브를 지지 내주디리디 다른 좀 지인도 좀 이게 때문에 지나지 나나세 그 때문에 치유버지 진리야
So, as the self-grasping thought. So when self-grasping thought perceives an object, so it thinks it's independent, as truly exists from its own side, up from the object side. Right? So then, when we when we analyze, and same thing for the eye, right? Analyze, you cannot find it, right? You cannot find it, and there's no eye, right? No eye. Something that we perceive, something is our object of our perception. It does not exist. So then, who is actually experiencing happiness, and who is suffering? We need to find out. So then, where is that something, an entity or something that is being, experiencing happiness and sufferings? Okay? So then that kind of I, someone who is experiencing happiness and all this kind of thing is exist. So when we state exist is just merely, so because of like a collection of something. So like a collection of something. If we have 5 aggregates, and there's a mind that uses that 5 aggregate as a basis, and then we create an I on that. That kind of I is exist. But we don't understand that. We think that I is independent and solid, and so because of that, so we develop all kinds of the emotions, like emotion. So similar, like when you look at a vase. So when we look at a vase, how they actually come into exist? What is the mode of existence, that vase? So then that vase is made out of lots of particles, and it has a shape, and it has different parts of different parts, right? So then where is the vase? So then you can find it's not the top, not the bottom, even every single part of that is not the vase. So, but there is a functional vase, working, holding water, and you use this vase. How they actually come in this? Where is that vase? So that vase exists only, there is a collection of substances, collection of substances, and there's a mind that projects on that substances and then creates a vase. So then that vase is coming to exist.
that's actually that 이내 리버티 지금 리버 마무리야 리버 마무 상담이야 아니 단다티 딘데 치네 딘데지 제삼바지네야 차신로디 까투야 말이 나라주 바샤 바자 컴먼데는 바자 샤인도 전부 딘데지 딘데지네 그 나나 시슈 기그르바 네 다티라 군디 제 리버티 마무 상담 아니 딘데지 디치도 이조를 쏘았다리야 예 초사 디자지야 근데 마부지 제스는 아니 디제기 단지기 내주디 상네 편도 영야디 남시는 우리 제제는 편도 영야디 문에 그 자가스레시아 문에 갈수 그래 차버기도 시단기도 내가 제수니 시단기 kontu deba chesu ne chapa ketu ne kare isne pura deba chesa dita niki kare subleti 열매봐 차단 끼해야 돼 끼해 끼시지 나기 그래 매된 거지 차단 끼도 전부터 된 거지 수익이 다 파제 주제를 매된 거지 하고 있는데 차단 끼도 있는데 그러나야 말하는 의지 지야 될 땐바 힘이도 봤어요 중요해 대지 전부터 아니 남사 단자와는 준비 진짜 이내 이야기 진짜 이시야스는 그래도 기그를 봤다.
So then when we hear about emptiness, teachings of emptiness, and listen to the teachings of emptiness, so then we feel like we understood, and then we accept, we agree with all these ideas and agree with all these logics. There are many other logics, and actually seeing emptiness or understanding emptiness is very difficult. It needs to rely on many logics. You need to use a lot of logics to prove, to understand the emptiness, right? So, but when we listen, when we hear about emptiness, sometimes we feel like we understood and we know about all this emptiness, and then at the same time we still suffer. You find out then you will still suffering. So then you will wonder, like, so what about my knowledge? So what about all this emptiness, right? But the seeing emptiness or understanding emptiness, again, depending on many causes and conditions. So that is, it has to be depend on many causes and conditions. For instance, causes would be like learning about emptiness, and then the practice of purifications and practice of accumulations. Heavily depends on all these causes and conditions, right? And then so when we listen to the Dharma the teachings about emptiness, so we feel like we understood, so then it's still we're suffering, so then sometimes we get confused, so then this but still we suffer, we suffer, we have normal kind of feelings within us, but when we think we understand emptiness, it happens, it occurs because we have very strong imprint. We call it imprint, and that is in a habit, sort of like habit. So because of the habitual, long-term kind of habitual, it's very difficult to get rid of. Yeah? So even though you listen to these teachings, right? So you may think you understand, but you suffer because of that, because of long-term habits. Okay, this is very difficult to detach. So that's why we need, supporting kind of practices like practice of purification and practice of accumulation. So then, when we collect all these factors, causes and conditions are like together, and then eventually you will see emptiness, perfectly. So then that actually helps you. So then if someone harms to you, if you see, when you see emptiness, okay, when you understand emptiness, see emptiness, so if someone harms to you, so then you will think, you'll feel like it's just harming to, it's you, because we have like a strong eye, sort of like eye, right? If someone harms to you and they are harming on nothing, there's no eye. So there's no eye. So you don't feel any, aversion or anything. So then you will think like, why I'm getting angry, so I'm getting angry at nothing. You feel something like that. That actually diminishes all of your mental afflictions.
어디 예전다 나는 그냥 나 개노르지 신의 개노르지 신의 개노르지 공부 때문에 주주가 좀 내려 그냥 개노 나도 그 개노 야마야 나 공부 뒤야를 공부 뒤야리 셈 뒤야리 남시질의 개노디지 초거래 제일 때 개노래도 이 개노디 다 동발남발 때니 개노세 지주 진짜 지주거려 이 주야지 카트 제가 치는 중국된 제기는 니 아메리카노 중국이 중국에는 출개노 주샤비에는 아니 개노세디 초거 제니 좀 부양 말 아니 초거 제니 개노세 지문다 인치다 닝다는 따블 때니 개노세 디지털 주샤비 아빠자 지금 이제 개노도 그만데 공부된다 개노도 이해하면 공부 생기때도 개노도 이해하면 생기때는 개노 디 생디 개노레시 공부 차는 공부 디 개노레시야 진짜네 대하면 어디에서는 정말 내가 개노 많이 버렸지 자와 천재 집이 게 천재 집이 개노 많이 버려줘 이 단서디 풍부다 도수 가게 되게 버려 그냥 실제가 그 개노 많이 버렸지 그래서 어디 디나 신제네 드니 말하지 어디 잡았으니 양 잡아 많이 버렸다는 전체지 잡았어야 제가 치면 중국들은 이해하면 자와시 그 시지 초인도 잡아야 돼 자와 그 시지 초인도 겐 시지 초인도 잡아 많이 버리지 이에서는 잡았으니 게 도말을 때는 도배 파다를 때는지 잡아서 시작이야. 이만 이제 잡았어야 그 이유는 주의가 네 담부 기준에 잡아야지. 오늘이 계실 때 이제 현지 체인지 잡아 많이 버리 매리야 수지. 그래. 이거 때문에 그 자가 줄 때문에 저한테 솔직히 인사는 쌍놈만 못해.
So then we need to know that all things are exist. They exist in a nominal kind of exist sort of like just like identity, something like that. Because everything is changes based on the causes and conditions. So, for instance, so we identify ourselves as an ordained monk, right? So then the ordained monk is just an identity, So this is not truly exist because it's not truly exist. If you think that is a truly exist, then you're saying this is a permanent and it will stay remain sort of like same quality forever. So this is how you if you identify that as a truly exist. So but that is not a truly exist. This is just nominal and just the nominal or level because a man participate in ordained ceremony and once you take participate in that ordinance ceremony, so there's real the involvement of like all this lam, I mean a teacher, someone's giving perception of the vows as a group of monk they come together. So then we identify that person as an ordained monk, right? So but there's no real ordained monk independent or the truly true ordained monk. Okay. So, but if that is a true ordained monk, so then where is that? That person, his body and his mind, has been there from the before he became a monk. This is there. We don't label a monk on that, aggregate and unconscious mind. Right? We don't. This is just level. So then when so then he participated in some kind of ceremony, and then we identify that individual as an ordained monk. Okay. So when he this monk disrupt, same thing again, he carries the same aggregates and same mind, but we identify that individual as, ex-monk. We don't call him anymore a monk anymore, right? We don't find that monk. So monkhood or mindness or monk on that level, so on that individual you don't find that. So that's why. So then that these all things are similar like that. It just exists, but in just nominal and just being just in a level. Like all things are as just level, right? Level nominal.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Level. Yeah. Yeah.
어디 있어도 언제 탈바싱에 대해 그네 유명한 주도에서 매베래 세상 규제 땐지 초점을 때니 샤브지 이 상관은 규제 땐지 다 초도지야 언제다 다바 뒤에 동네 민족들이 저와들이 동네 제 또그 받다 잠체 이발라 저와들 또그 받다 잠체 이게 초점을 때니 저와시야 이게 같이 초점을 때니 아니 동네 시작이야 이 사람이 이 동네 시작이 또 이렇게 때문에 매버리지 규제인 것이 초인지 대화들 된 것이 시작이야 규제인 것이 제체인지 동네 시작이야 이 사람 나도 동네 민족에서는 동네 조직 규제에 맞춰야 돼 규제 초점을 때는지 동네도 두고 산다 동네 조직이 규제도 맞춰야 지야 네 대화세야지 규제 초점을 때는 그거를 했으니까 이미 그 대화생이 그게 유해가 제 뒤에 출연할 때가 많이 봐 랑게 때도 규제 것이 초선의 대화 중이야.第三 규제의 간접 기준 지위야. 아니 주야이 대화의 필요하지 요즘 주요 시험을 말. 우리 대화세에 이 국내에 좀 많이 봐. 규제 관시지 조선의 대화 중이야. 규제 관시지 제는 중요해요. 第一是的 내세의 규제 초발을 되는 중앙 이상 어디 두제 규제도 맞춰야 돼. 합시제 제수는 규제라는 거는 맞죠. 라는 거는 규제 초등들의 샤버디 하고 그 내용이 규제도 맞춰야 돼. 그래야 자스지. 대화세야지 규제 초등의 때는 주거리 미션지. 그 라는 그건 말이야. 그래서 나는 좀 아니 규제디 매주지야 디 그 규제 대화세야지라는 거는 그거 있는 규제도 그냥 그 여버지 주의에 약속 그 sometime 어디에서 아니는 저 대화디라는 거는 내가 자꾸 이제 처었던 것 때문에 그거 자꾸 이 규제 줘야지 돼야지 대화되고 근데 이 규제는 규제 줘야지 생수지기 다들 지 대화를 지금 순에 지발에 지다서 지금 당하는 집에 대해서는 개화지 대화 용기 삼지 집을 주고도 집에서야 돼 개화 집에 당에 개화서야 돼 이 주문에 붙잡을 수 있는 그 예전적으로 준비한 말 근데 내가 예선 나도 집에 당에 개화지 다다면에 다들 강해지네 다다면에 다들 이야기 비전 수업된 제상코 내시에디 연말 말이 예버스야요 대화세야디 연말 말이 야요 연말시니지 그리 위내지 이제 어디 이상도 탈바시니지 이 분명히 내가 있었는지 이제 초었던 것 때문에 그것이 하고 있는 이제 초사지
So he said that things are not truly exist. So that means like entire things or phenomena, including nirvana as well. So if you believe nirvana is truly exist, that it's a true, so then that is something you cannot achieve. You cannot have it because it's truly exists. So the idea goes like this. So then since the nirvana is independent, not independent, I mean like dependent, right? Depending on others, causes and conditions, and that is that identification or that level at that nirvana is something not truly exists. So that actually gives us, if you understand that, it gives us some hope, and we can achieve that. If it's a truly exist, independent, so then we cannot have it. So this is something impossible to gain that because it truly exists, right? So since that is the nirvana is dependent, and that can happen if you depends on causes and conditions. So that give us hope because if we able to collect all these causes and conditions for that, so then we can have it. So then because so we have all these causes and conditions for that. That actually gives us hope, and we know we can feel that there is something achievable, there's something we can attain, so there's something within your range, your something you can reach that. Similar like that, so your happiness and your sufferings, right? So if you know that these are depending on like causes and conditions, so then you will that actually gives you hope again. There's something you can make yourself happy. You can be free from your sufferings because this is are depending on causes and conditions. So when we say depending on causes and conditions, so you should not think that you should collect the right causes and conditions for your happiness, and happiness up somewhere up in the sky. So then when you have all these causes and condition, you can take that, so you should not think about that. So when you have that is also, if you think that that is, you are thinking of like happiness as a independent, and then the truly exist. Yeah. So happiness is just sort of like identity, or it's just a level. If you collect the right causes and condition, that is called happiness. There's nothing more than that. There's nothing, so from like outside, entering into or installing into your all these causes and condition. This being in that nature, collecting all causes and condition, being in that mood, it's called happiness. There's nothing more than that. Similar like the sufferings. When you collect all these causes and condition, the right causes and condition for your suffering. So that being in that mood is suffering. There's nothing. That's suffering. So when you understand that, that gives you hope. So then you know that if you collect right causes conditions for your happiness, you will be happy because you have all the causes condition. That is the happiness, right? So this gives us hope. So it's like instead of like discouraging us, so you will know that. So there is some achievable, and because of that, so when we said collect all right causes, of course, uh, um, naturally we are looking for happiness and trying to get rid of our sufferings. We have that sense, naturally we have that kind of feeling, right? Feeling. So then if you really sincere about it, so then you know that their happiness, their happiness only happens if you collect right causes conditions for that. Then when you know that, then that actually understand the idea force you to engage more in virtuous deeds, for instance, practice of generosity and so forth. So that force you to engage in this type of practices.
아, 그네 어른들 미 상부세야 돼 템벌만 미 멤버세야 돼 템벌만 미 상부세야 돼 기재 텐제 초등을 때니 상부를 해 이제 텐제 현대지 초인도 미 멤버를 최선은 미 멤버의 미 상부를 해야 기재 텐제 초인도 상부를 이유를 하고 미 상부지야 기재 텐제主要的军企啊的地，你上不是的军舰定的错动，上不，你眼巴是的军舰定的错动的定，你眼巴的，因上你眼巴的呀，军舰定嘛，是的，当然就你上不对的，你眼巴对的呀嘛，上不对的个人生的上不对，你永远是买一个人生的。军舰定的错动的定，你上不对。这个意思的，你上不接的，直接点的，白呀的，白那不白呀的，上不的鱼呀，你上不是的白鱼公园的不接的，有可能那不接的鱼，你你可是不的，你白做接巴了的呢，没这巴的去，没这巴的去，这接的呢，你。真正经济出来呢，买给的，你上不是的，根本没意思。真正错怎么对你小朋友是，买给起啊没事。你上不的都把它结束呢，你上不是的，那上不是的，对得起这真正已经真正错怎么对你小朋友去，你就没那个，那什么根本没意思。 밍엠버레스니 이게 때지 처음 때니 그래서 우리 샤워에서 멤버스니 랑이 주제 때지 맞던 밍엠버레스니 니 그래서 우리 차다 세다기 기고 되네 이내에 상부 멤버들이 이내에 이렇게 말로 이내에 자와 상부지 자와 멤버지 틀리도 좀 네. 결국에 말해서 라버가 이제 질라버가 쳐서 민에 말해서니 네랑 이 중에 멤버를 지수에 또기 지금 나 시당 기회를 지질라서나 내 강에 치에 무슨 멤버라네 멤버 많이 있어 야부레스 전에 런네 멤버 많이 있어 야부지 멤버 뭐 말이야 또왜 받는 샤워를 이제 된데 처음 샤워를 치 너 된데 삼부이나 되네 아 삼부레스니 나게게야 차바게야 메다 냠바레스니 시다게야 본도게야라서 진짜 never 체리 어때지 궁금나 답변자라는 그 대신에 담을 나투말 이 변을 해서는 문제야 버지 맞지 이 잡종을 조사를 자를 내비인지 아니지 가부야지
So then also, if you know that all things are depending on other causes and conditions, so that actually gives us relief. So like so we normally identify some human being as a bad person and some human being as a good person, right? So making distinguish between good and bad. How do you are making distinguish between good and bad? huh? So then if someone prays to you, someone says something good thing about you, so then you feel you enjoy it and you identify that individual as a good person, right? So then if you know how that actually come into exist, these things actually come into exist, someone prays to you, someone being nice to you, because there is some causes and conditions that actually force you to have that kind of experiences. And imagine that if you lose one of these causes and conditions, so then you will lose them, that they will not praise you, they will not be nice to you. So if you lose one of the causes and conditions from that, so then if you know that, if you understand that, you really don't get too attached to that kind of thing. You really don't feel like an ego or pride about all this. If someone tells you a nice thing about you, so you really have like a strong kind of emotion towards that, because you know that is happened because of these causes and conditions. If you miss one of these causes and conditions, you will lose that, right? So the same thing, you can look at the other aspect, the negative side. So for instance, if someone's being really bad to you, so normally we identify that being as a very bad person, we don't like them, and we have all kinds of mental emotion towards that individual, right? Again, you should look again, so how did it actually come into exist? Same thing, it depends on causes and conditions. It's not because of it's truly exists. If this is a truly exists, that being is being bad, the negative person, if it truly exists, you cannot change it. No, just forget it. You cannot change it. You cannot do anything about it. So since you know that this is actually happening because of causes condition, then you can see the possibility you can change that. You can change that person. If you change one of these causes and conditions, that being will be changed. That your perception on that being will be changed, because that being identifying that as bad is causing dependent on causes and conditions. If you remove one of those, so then you will change perception on that individual. So That's why it says it's help. It helps you to be really, makes you comfortable and gives you a relief. You understand, how things are dependent on each other or the causes conditions. Right? Again, it's difficult. Of course, it's difficult to know that, difficult to understand and appreciate about that. But so again, so we need to do meditate over again and again in order to have that kind of sense feeling towards everything. So we need to meditate on emptiness over again and again, and at the same time we need a very strong supporting from a practice of accumulation and practice of purifications. So then if you do that, if you combine all this together, so that eventually you will have that.
어떤 남기네 거리네 메딩 바이스 책임 받지를 수는 메딩 바이스 책 상부지는 메딩 바이스 공지도 책임은 책 멤버지를 빈도 컨트롤 받아야 해요. 책 상부지 잡스는 되게 그냥 메딩 바이스 자신 맞게 미게 굉장히 편리해. 굉장히 제수나니 내 때문에 저렇게 로드로야 돼.
So then, again, meditating on emptiness is looking at seeing all things are not real, like more like artificial. So then if you know that, so then you don't get angry if someone, criticize you, and you really don't get strong attachment, ego, and pride when someone says good thing about you. So everything is fake. It's not real, unreal. All things are like unreal. Okay. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay. You go. No, you go. I have another question.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm still trying to formulate mine. Okay. Shall I sit you on your top?
Yeah.
Let's start the last paragraph. So, okay, when you think that nothing is, so things are changeable, okay, and it really based on cause and condition, that I understand. But when you practice, actually it's a little bit tough because okay, it doesn't matter what other people say to me. It will because it's so highly unreliable. Because I know when condition changes, things will change, right? So
you don't trust anybody.
True. I mean, seriously, it develop a very high distance, because I know things can change. So it doesn't matter if they say if they've been very nice to me, actually I'm very scared. Oh my God. I'm very scared. So it's not very easy,
Yes.
because I don't know how to I move that toward a more the honest truth is only when I think of Buddha I feel very comfortable. And when I think of others I don't feel comfortable.
This is what
So I don't know how to deal with this.
This is what I think has a penetration changma you the can la temperes ani iche yo mares ani tempo yo mares ta mangbo sherwa ta shi de mora ta kharchi osan ta misu ji li ji me ba ro cha ru ru dos ka samma tempo yo pen mi ji su su ya bu che de che na de le yi ji chu ne me yi ji ke kha bu shu yo ka na you the can de ni jur ro ya roas ta ko mora ngi ji ta tempa sang ge chum din de la du sambala ta de le yi ji lo ke chi che ma da ji shen de main be shen da soja the center khari inele yijike tuya kala khakoresha kaisna ta because koran to phejidi didang warda changma jude kyan de bare yi yen yo mare che mangbu sigor odir teni sigorda
진짜 이제
닝지 시고 위주로 되네. 닝지 고 위주로 맞다 지금 맞다죠.
인지 거가 매temba 세된 중에 그래서래 중에 둘세 제가 뭐번에
밀면 무슨 이지 게임도 쓰고 그래서 정말 다들 동반 얘기도 때는 밥도 선물 정말 덴데레 줌바레 지망고 식든데 표지 지고 걸어다 디기 식디 삼노 당디
이제 상하리 그래서
데데데 줌바레
덴디 초당 주대 뭐야 덴디 초당 주는 이디 치리야 디 야마리 시야마 지탄 주로 줘야지 덴디 야리 빌리 이지 제한 내리 이지 제 다리 대부이는 상이 대부인 우리 시지 제는 아니 야마라 네 상이 치시 말했으니 이지 제는 야마라 네 그래서 그네 다리 대부인의 상이 치는 상이 미치와들이는 densu야 내려 이 미팅이 상부티 예버치야리 그 신제 그에는 이니의 신제 뜻이 이 상부리 예버지 예버커는 난 예버이 제니 예이 말이 예주체는 상부리야야리
미상보 미냠바다 미냠바 덴바 주바니 가가지에 도와봐
이게
덴바
상부 세야지다 이제한다 내팀바 세야지 내팀바 세야지
이건 말 어디 나왔어
내팀바 세 예지게지 누구야지 내가 누구야지다 예지게지 누구야지 내팀바
So it said that things are independent, they are not true. We have that kind of notion, like a lot of negative kind of notions of our things, right? But that is not saying that good persons not exist, and so good things are. We are not actually rejecting existence of good things or good qualities. Okay, so here we say they are, so things that not truly exist, they are not reliable. That means like all these things talking about our perception, the way in which we perceive objects. Our perception is not reliable. So our perception is wrong. So then they are not truly exist. But it doesn't mean there's no good person, there's not good person or good things.
지금 아주 내된 거 그래서 내 상부티 예세고요. 내 상부야리. 내 상부는 이지 제야리. 다시 그래서 지된 그 추도 틈버체니 이지 제야리. 지된 그 추도 내 틈버체니 상부 많이 배쳐지. 이게 그도 누구야? 이네야 지다 상부스니 야 상부인데스니 야리. sampai dua kaya dua dokumen mana dua dokumen juga tanya kecil tak cuci ya
So
jadi kuat dia kecil cuci ya jadi dua dokumen ini kecil macam ni ya kau dia
so there are good person and they are reliable person, trustworthy person, so you can trust them. So this, for instance, how we identify someone is honest or dishonest depends on how we make that, how we make rules within our community. Okay, in the community, if someone decides to call a particular action is a good actions, so then we also identify that as a good actions. Okay, so if someone follows that rules and stuff, that stuff like that. So then that we can identify that individual as a reliable person, a good person, and you can trust on them because it's kind of staying in the a norm or as a rule in that community, right? And then if again there are good things. For instance, if there's not good things, so then we cannot become a Buddha. Because a Buddha is positive kind of energy or good thing, right? So the good things that exist, but so then there are people we can rely on.
아무도 되지. 라기니 마을 수제 지지게야. 살을 템바지 지지지 도비치. 네. 뭘 할아야 기지 동배나니 기니. 내마 쇼가 마트지 동배나 마찬. 아 디지지게 디리야. 탈아야 된시가야 치. 아 디지지게.
So then also so then in tantric practice, so we generate ourselves as a deity, so then eventually we dissolve that deity form into emptiness. There's a reason for that. So we dissolve that into emptiness because even the Buddhahood state, the state of Buddhahood or the deity form is not truly exist. Because of that, in order to eliminate that kind of idea, being exists truly exists. So that's what we dissolve them into emptiness. That is something we can eliminate, that kind of notion of idea being really truly exists. All this, even this is really holy body, but they are not truly exist.
진짜 산지 그거 세계 대유지 때문에 지금 매번 인생은 산지 그거 그게 때문에 초점을 때문에 샤바 인생은 산지 그거 소리치 그 지기야. 이 매번 때문에 초점을 때문에 샤바는 이게 미야기 때문에 그 말이야. 이 말이야. 그 예번 그 템버를 지는 한번에 유리부터 매부터 저지야 매니
So the dependent what you call this, dependent arising, yes. So dependent arising, logic of dependent arising is very powerful because if you don't believe in, or if you don't understand dependent notion of dependent arising, the nature of dependent arising, so then if things are not dependent arising, so then the Buddhahood is impossible. We cannot achieve that because it depends on nothing. So then there's no way we can acquire and causes condition for that, just because it doesn't depend on causes conditions. So then this is something we cannot achieve. Yes.
When someone or something caused me to be upset, right? I tried to use emptiness. I said, oh, it's cause condition, so I shouldn't be upset. Problem is, I don't know what cause and condition that caused the person or the something that made me, that caused me problems. Then I continue to get upset because I don't know the reality.
That is a music similar 강야티 테스나. Tadi call 강야 용해디 주데 kial 때네 강야 용레스 하고도스. 주데 kial 가리면 하고 오면도스. This is an and long 대딕 도스고. 뭐시고.
이게 세상 그 네디 지 라셔디 양발에 주소네. 왜냐면 내가 인생을 그 내가 지금 가사게 갔다 되는 이야기네. 동배 바다 좀 샤시버 가사지. 나는 내가 지내기. 양 내가 지들 그 게임만 붙지 처음에 공부를 지금 코란이라고 하면 되지. 공부를 지다 게임만 붙지 되니까 내가 제발 코란이 내내 내가 지금 private meeting in a neighbor. In their never changing cancer. Pungutin, Java changing, simply, and Ele never chair the game of the penny. I never chair. And then did it around Chiva Massachusetts and me up with me some chile. Did a game that you change somebody, Chiva Science, meeting but chair. The cook arrest me somebody Rashidi Madu. Yambati Rashidi Madu. Gave a sheet to try in the dark of the Nebaris. Yan Tichi, the Jam Mambachi in the course Ambuchi. That is, she that temper married the around temperate soon and could here. Dying but the temperate soon, are you with the temper? Trying the temperate soon. We could here. 파트 제가 지금 공기 때문에 계속해요.
So then, first of all, it happens, so when, someone makes you upset, upset, right? Because you see that individual as truly exist. This is the main problem here, right? So since you see that individual as a truly exists, so then if something, something happens, is like if he uses, the individual uses harsh words towards you, so then you get angry because you see that individual as truly exist, so then you cannot really find that who is, saying bad to you. So you cannot find that. This is the main reason, right? So then if someone is not nice, it's like if you identify that individual as a bad person, right? Bad person or not good person, sort of like. So there's a reason for that. So you're using different types of reasons. Then why reasons, based on that reason, you identify that individual as a bad person, right? Then you need to look at what are the reasons. It could be he says something, that individual says something bad to you. That's why you get angry, right? You get angry. So you need to look at that's why it says it depends on like all causes and conditions, right? And if you think that individual as bad, real bad, truly bad, so then let's say like he's mean to you at the moment, why why that individual is being mean to you at the moment when you look, maybe that individual is angry, maybe he's not unhappy, he is going through like some sort of unhealthy kind of mental state because of that, and he's being really mean to you or something like that. It's not the person, you're not the person. So then at the other time, so that individual could be really nice to you. So then where's that person? Where did it go? So you need to look. Everything is, so in short, sort of like everything, you're making it up. This is all your perception because you have believed that the individuals truly exist. And it starts from there, and you kind of get all other, implications of that.
Shima, you want to ask yours before I ask mine?
No, you ask yours.
Okay. All right. So Rinpoche, you said that when we collect the causes and conditions for happiness, that is actually happiness.
When you have it, right?
Yeah, when
okay.
that collection of causes and conditions, that is happiness itself. It's not that happiness exists someplace else and that you gain it, right? So then if emptiness doesn't exist on its own, it also has causes and conditions that...
You're talking about emptiness now.
Emptiness.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't exist.
Yes.
It has causes and conditions that cause it to exist. So then, is the accumulation of the collection of the causes and conditions for emptiness, the experience of emptiness, or is emptiness a different experience? Because if happiness, if the collection of causes and conditions for happiness is happiness, then would the collection of causes and conditions for emptiness be the experience of emptiness?
Okay. 답변은 this one. 단대 경기 답변은 개화기 촉잠라 개화 가서디 개화기 딱 유대견 촉잠라 아니 개화식이래서 이마도지 개화 이내요 지디 주도 초지 개화야 주 두배서라지 말레스 고 촉바 잠기 아니 딜 개화식이래스 유대견 촉바 잠기 개화식이래스 라와 pirwa di inasi ota 책으로 와치자 주대견 초바디 아니 개와레스 라 마도지견 주대견 dia 초지 대와지니 개와 주비아서라지 개와데 파지 어디 요 마레스 어디 라와 다 딜라와이나 타베나 똥니 라타 다 개와디 똥니 데 주대견 텐 초바로 와스 주대견 토바 초바이나 타베나 셔신 똥니 토베 샤라디 샤라지 샤지 딜라테네 아니다 똥니 디니 용레 다 두버레베스 두버레베스 다 주디겐 소라 똥니 토베 샤랍디 사차네 두버레베스 원 kom 메가지로 메가소라 샤오마르 똥
똥니 세디 텐디 텐디르테니
너 텐디라 테바 와세 와라
유튜브 장자 예선에 최근에 지네 뜨니 그 장자 지에서는 네 라신 네버스 똥버리스 여름에 맞으면 유튜브 예산 아니 그 라운드 주거든 말이지 라운드 주거 취야 말이지 이유는 가능한 맞을 취하고 근데 동물이 있어야 돼 라운드 주게 또 라운드 또
라운드
제선다 동물이 돼 근데 라운드 맞을 취 간걸로 라운드 맞을 취 예산
그 주디겐 샤 여르베 콜 주디겐 여르베 콜 텐디 샤오라
텐디 주거 예산
okay
텐디 주거 예산
so the emptiness okay emptiness is dependent which is logic emptiness is dependent because it is dependent arising
Right.
He said that okay
Oh, emptiness is dependent arising.
yes
Okay.
emptiness is dependent arising
Mhm.
so then here when we talk about emptiness emptiness it means he said the empty of dependence okay the empty of dependent is emptiness
Empty of independent.
Independent. Empty of
independent.
no dependent
emptiness of dependent.
yes,
yes,
yes.
it's not dependent on anything
yes
else.
yes not depending on anything okay empty of independent
Independent.
Of
Okay,
independence.
independent,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
oh independent yes
Yeah.
Of independence.
sorry
yeah.
not dependent sorry
Yes.
Yeah.
empty of independent is empty okay
Okay.
That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
so then it is
Mhm.
see so there's no and the way you present it looks like what you're thinking like there's emptiness up somewhere and you're trying to prove it or something like that and, so he used that logic but I don't know if it makes sense or not because he said emptiness is dependent arising
Emptiness is
it's
dependent.
dependent arising
Right.
okay
Uh-huh.
and then the emptiness is also empty of independent
Independence.
that is emptiness It's like,
Right.
when he says in Tibetan it's funny but I don't know how to put it in exactly this is actually not I don't know it just kalli khabo ko ta tong ba ni de ten de is la ra ta tong ba ni se na ten ta ka se ten be tong ra me ten ba ra so then and also emptiness is empty of truly exists something like true
Mhm.
that is emptiness
So, but then is the collection of the causes and conditions to experience emptiness, the experience of emptiness.
Okay, can you say it again? Causes and collection.
you
You're talking
remember how you
causes
said
and collection, right?
causes and conditions. You said
Okay.
when you collecting the causes and conditions for happiness was the first example Rinpoche gave. Then that is actually happiness.
Okay.
There is no separate happiness from that.
Yes, yes.
So I'm saying if you're collecting the causes and conditions to experience emptiness,
Okay.
are you already experiencing emptiness while you are collecting the causes and conditions for that?
Oh,
Is
I don't
that
know.
the
Okay,
experience?
okay. Now this is a little bit different. Okay. That this is what pena this word pena Kewagi that pena dewa says or dewadi. Jugen sok but some dewagi that deve jugen so timbe jugen so basi word that so but some that did dewa res dewa munchi or dewa la ta dewa res larwa. That didn't she should put you the game to like get a shiver that delay chan shiver the more cars was na pena ngazu tongbanyi toya la bezun chi ta pena jude kenya chogurwa mare tingi khutiwa di mare jude kenya di tongbanyi pena ta lobjon chi ya da chi jude kenya ta jude kenya du soyon du ta di tongni tobe sherab rawo tongni tobe ta lora chi rebes la gorta mara no no
So it's something different.
동반이 또야기 주겐디야 소민도 좀 동반이 말어 동반이 또봐 말어 또봐 말어서 so when you collect causes and conditions to experience emptiness being your collection you're collecting all this is not experiencing emptiness but if you have all this right causes and conditions to experience emptiness you will experience emptiness
At some point.
What do you mean some point?
In the future.
Future, I don't know. 다 마음 발라다 근데 주gen 상마야 소민도 좀 발라 동반이 또야 마음 발라 또 그래 배워. 소바상 또 살아 봐.
이제 단계 자리 수수 돈이 또야 될 рем번 마무리야. 주주부터 삼주부터야 주주부터야 이게 마무리야. 이 셈이지. 삼주부터야 세세때 게 초발을 때니 배지 임바를 삼사지 예수는 주주시로 또 쓰여야
So let me say yes when you collect all the right causes conditions to develop emptiness yes you will develop emptiness now and also when we talk about emptiness there's different levels of emptiness you understand that too let me say emptiness that seeing emptiness based on knowledge, based on contemplation, based on meditation. There's many different levels of emptiness and the realization of emptiness.
제가 이제 만보 삼네. 돈이 쓰이게 되는데 진짜리 삼사를 중소나지. 돈이 주주시를 또 쓰게. 저는 정말 좋아해.
So like realizing emptiness is like we should derive from power of listening. So power of listening is when you listen to the teachings of emptiness. So that teaching actually convinced you that emptiness should and this is emptiness. Emptiness looks like something like that. If you have that kind of knowledge, that is a realization of emptiness. Actually, that is derived from best of listening. Yes.
When Rinpoche talks about the collection of causes and conditions for the suffering, so understanding the reality or the true causes, like you mentioned, that person is in the sickness, conditional state. But how about condition?
Conditions like someone is sick. Someone's what?
So recognizing the causes. So that person is not a true person, right? That
Oh, okay.
So that is the causes, right? Because he's not in the right mood, or he's not in a good health condition. But
Condition. Okay.
his condition is the causes.
Yes.
But the conditions of the suffering to be occurring at that moment. So what are the conditions?
Oh, okay. So you were saying the person is not true, and then the suffering is not true, right? Something like that. And then how not true, like unreal person is suffering unreal. I mean, unreal being is experiencing unreal suffering. Something like that.
Yeah. What condition make that happen? If
Oh,
we
okay.
see a person is unrealistic, right?
Okay.
Because he's not a person.
Okay.
Because but
He's not a person. I don't know.
because of the moon of his moon cause is the cause of the suffering, right? But what condition make that happen, and how we could change the condition?
Tapi na this one. Me dema maimba, narwa. An me dile naza dema maimba, narwa. So for that, inji signa sir labdi samba so shop sabra jiwa tadi. Me dema maimba ji naza dema maimba nares. Ani dile di jude kendi kharigi chinen ko nagyores orta. Jude kendi.
Jude kendi naza naya jude mambu yari ba. Drama de mambu yari. Negri to drama de mambu yari ba. Dina shindi.
So remember there are many causes and condition for sickness, sort of like sickness. Different types of sickness. They have different types of causes and conditions. I don't know if you said that.
Just like Dr. Ann said, without recognizing the causes and the condition, how we could change to get the suffering to a lower level or diminish, right?
Oh, okay. Then the how the cagres larva. You can have one, you can just cagres. So let me say when you get sick, we go to see a doctor. Doctor will find out the causes and why how it happened, and he will prescribe.
But I'm not the person who causes suffering. Cause me to suffer. I cannot make him to see the doctor.
Amji yo mara sigor ta koi. Amji yo mara sigor.
Amji yari. Tuje chol to beteni.
So there is a doctor. There's a doctor, and there's a doctor something that community exists merely depending on respective kind of causes conditions. And then you can solve all 10 years. You can solve all 10 years. So there's a doctor you label based on causes and conditions. But that's not true. That's not true, doctor. To this seems can shagin be. Shagin be. Okay.
No, I just have a quick question. Just a quick question.
Okay.
I think it's simple. Nagarjuna said things are neither real nor unreal. Does the nor unreal just mean dependent arising? Is that what it's referring to?
딱 그래 this 이거를 최탐제 자데 가서디 뭐 공부루르기 최탐제 덴바이 최탐제 덴바 마이스 랍샤스이거
덴바 마이스
덴바 마이 덴바 인스 when you say I translate your phrase exactly in Tibetan. Yeah. Number say it's like things are unreal and real. You said unreal and real, right?
Nagarjuna, no.
Yeah,
Nagarjuna
okay.
said neither real
Okay,
nor unreal.
unreal. That means like you're rejecting both, being real and unreal, right? Right?
Yeah.
I
Neither
guess
real
so.
nor
Yeah.
unreal. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Okay. So remember
Trying
said
to understand.
remember said it can be. It is all the things are unreal.
But Nagarjuna in 60 stanzas said,
He said that.
neither real nor unreal. It's nor unreal. I'm stuck on. Not unreal.
나중에 라셔서
60
최탐지
stanzas.
덴바이 마이 덴바 마이 마이스. 최탐지 덴바이 마이스 덴바 마이 마이스. 야, 네. 무시 들어와. Actually, there are four. Four goes together.
I know. I always get confused with the four.
This is, you know what? This is very tough.
But I like that. How else would you get it? But he did
So
say
we'll
that.
do it next class.
So we can study.
Maybe you know what? Why don't you go and get the right phrase? Okay,
Yeah,
the
that's
right.
what-
I mean the right writing.
That's
text.
what Nagarjuna said.
Okay.
Right here.
Tibetan we call
Oh.
mushi.
It's page 133.
So you're ahead of us.
Are neither real nor unreal. I love it. I just need to understand.
Comment being man drosha. Actually, it's eliminating four corners, something like that. It's called.
Yeah, because he talks about that.
Yes.
Can we go over that later?
Okay. Jema di tiro chesa di.
Yeah.
It's going. It's coming.
It's coming.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Oh.